50-yard line.
It is 4 p.m. Eastern, which means it is time for the Audible. Thank you for watching Sportsbook Review. I am here with my guy, Donnie, right side. Whale Capper will be joining us live from Santa Anita. He's at the Breeders' Cup Championships. The big day for the Breeders' Cup is tomorrow. The big day for us is Sunday, and I've got 13 games already locked in, Donnie. I'm pumped up, man. How are you doing on this Friday?
Now we're doing good. Some big information since the last time we even spoke this morning on betting with the bag. So I'm looking forward to going over the card. We'll have some fun. We'll lock in some wagers, and we'll get this weekend started in style, Jimmy.
In style. I've never had this many spots, this many angles. I love this card, Donnie. I love this card, and I locked them all in early, and almost all of them, the market's gone in my direction. Makes me feel good. A couple of them they have not. We're going to talk about each and every one of these games. Shout out to all the cappers in the chat. Alex Ramirez, Sean Mick, Long Balls, Larry, Dennis Garcia, Perfect Rotation, Robert Weimer says, good afternoon. My 2-week slide stops this week. I like the card this week, y'all. Let's get that cash. I agree with you, Robert Weimer. I like this card a lot. Gene Montoya, Nick O, Joe Yurkovich in the house. Perfect Rotation, Jux, MWMS, Tasha M, Silver Malco, Robbie Tagaloa, the Samoan Thunder, Craig 77, Leonard Welch, Doja Fap. Let's get to work. First off, just like Robert Weimer, I too am in a terrible slump. And honesty, transparency, and glory, soon to come glory, will be part of this show. Pop up our records, please, Rafa. Sadly, Whale Capper's great record is a little bit worse. He did have the Niners last night, which looked good for a lot of it. It looked very strong, but in the end, the cards came back. It was a tricky spot last night, although I came so close to taking that team total over 27.5. I would have just got there barely, but I did not. Antoine Seymour, Raphael, Trainer Tone, Gerald Jones, Dean Lauthers, Major Tom. Let's get to work, Donnie, right side, and we're going to start with the game across the pond. Starts a couple hours earlier than the others. Texans, Jaguars, and the Texans have won 14 of the past 18 in this series, and we know that these Jags play over there almost every year. They're comfortable over there. The Texans now, Watson 3-0 as a starter against Jacksonville. He beat them in September. First quarterback in NFL history with at least 15 touchdowns, 15 touchdown passes, 5 rushing scores in his first 8 games of any season. J.J. Watt done for the year. Jacksonville's defense has been very good the past 3 weeks, holding New Orleans, Cincinnati, and the Jets 13, 17, and 15. Fournette doing nothing in the red zone. I have a ton of plays on this card, Donnie. This is not one of them. I have not made a move here. Are you making a move in the UK game?
No, not making a move in the UK game. It's nice, though, because you get to start your Sunday morning off, getting the feel, the rhythm, and hopefully your plays a little bit later in the day do cash in. Reason being, I'm not, Jimmy. Of course, we're going overseas. It always makes it tougher. And yes, Jacksonville's been there before, and usually the Jacksonville teams that go over there get pasted when they get there. This one might be a little bit different because I think you're going to have some opportunities to get some points on the board. Deshaun Watson in that offense should be able to move the football against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville's got a pretty good front four, and they should be able to get some pressure. A couple banged up tackles for the Houston Texans that we talked about a little bit earlier on betting with the bag. But I see both sides being able to move the football in this game. And if we're going to sit on opening lines at 47, now sitting at 46.5, it's supposed to be like 50, 53 degrees, which isn't bad at this time of year across seas over in London. It is a grass surface. You might get a little bit more of a slippery surface, but no precipitation. Supposed to be in the area for game day. And obviously with the stadium, like that half dome type thing, you're not going to get a lot of wins. I think we might get some points here. I would lean more on the points as opposed to a side, Jimmy, but I won't be playing either side or total in this football game either.
Yeah, we know that Jacksonville's comfortable over there. And Dennis Garcia brings up a great point. Says, do you trust O'Brien, a terrible coach, to have his team prepared when none of them have been to London before? There's David Stewart in the house. Much love, David Stewart. Great to see you. I am not making a move here. The Texans opened up at -2.5. They're now at -1. There are 1.5s on the board. And as Donnie said, this total down to 46 or 46.5. This is not a spot I want to make moves on. Raphael says points will be scored. J.J. Watt out. Jack's familiar with the environment. Over is looking good. I am not making a move. Let's move on to a spot I am making a move. And I was hoping that the quarterback issues with Washington would have been solved by now, and they are not. I'm on the Redskins +10. Teddy Covers is liking the Bills -9, and here I am on the Redskins +10. 42 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 17-mile-per-hour winds in Buffalo. Redskins have been playing better football since they got rid of Gruden. But is Dwayne Haskins going to make his first career start? Keenum's still in concussion protocol. I don't know if you have more information on that, Donnie. Bills' 5 wins have come against opponents entering the weekend with a combined 7 of 31. 7 for wins, 31 loss record. Josh Allen, season low, 253 yards, managed 2 first downs on final 6 possessions. Their good defense got destroyed by the Eagles. Season worst, 218 yards rushing allowed, 156 in the second half. Both defenses are good. I have some interest in the under, but it's so low. I don't want to try to get under 36. It opened at 37. Bills open up at minus 10.5. They're 9.5s and 10s on the board. Donnie, right side, Redskins, Bills.
This is going to be an interesting theme this week, Jimmy. I'm going to talk about quarterbacks making their first career starts in NFL action. You're going to get that from Dwayne Haskins. It was just named about an hour ago that he will take the helm and get his first start. Case Keenum still haven't recovered from that concussion-like symptoms. That's where the tough part's going to begin, because when we take a look at the Redskins as is, even if they're going to have a veteran behind center, well, that'll be not a very good veteran. Look at the 5-game snapshot for him, Jimmy. On the road at the Giants, 3 points. New England at home, 7 points. On the road at Miami, which everybody lights up, 17 points, they win by 1. San Francisco at home. Yes, it was a rainy situation, but you didn't even score, 0 points. Last week versus Minnesota on a Thursday night game, 9 points. If you're struggling to get 7, 9 points, or even hit double digits, I can't back you at any motion because, hey, it's funny. Hey, look, they lost. They actually got shut out and covered a spread versus San Francisco. Yeah, I get that. But if you watch that football game, it was really close to San Francisco actually getting the cover in that one. Dwayne Haskins isn't ready to start. I don't think the Redskins get the 14 points. Therefore, I can't back them. So, obviously, on the Audible this week, I also, along with Teddy, agree. -9 Buffalo Bills for me. And it's not really a cap, Jimmy, to say, well, Buffalo shouldn't be favored by 10 points. It's just looking directly at Washington saying, you guys are going to struggle to get 10 points. And if that's going to be the case, Buffalo should get into the 20s. Give me the Buffalo Bills -9 here, Jimmy.
Yeah, I might even buy myself out of this. I do not want Haskins in there. Sean Mix says no way.
That's actually what I waited on too as well, Jimmy. If it was a veteran, the same way you took it last week with the Miami Dolphins game, hey, veteran quarterback, you got a shot. They were in it right up to the end. I can't have a rookie that's clearly overmatched at this point and say, you know what, I'm going to put my money on that kid on the road.
Yeah, I do not feel good about this at all. Robert Weimer says Deadskins can run against the Bills, think they cover, but not playing this. Sports 78 with me on the Skins +10. Joe Nisi confirming Haskins is starting. Robert Weimer says this game total is too low to play. Tasha leaving the Bills alone. Sean Mix says no way I can take the Bills -9.5. They just don't blow out poor teams. I am not comfortable here at all. Doja Fab says Bills win easily. Junior Brown in the house, star of Jammin' with Jay Money. Junior Brown says first career start against the Bills defense, not a good look. Bills defense could score more than the Redskins offense. I might have to buy my way out of this one. Yuck. Okay, I am going to take that question mark beside the under off. I agree with David Stewart. There's my guy Ant Fam in the house. Says Ty Hilton out for the Colts. Are we off the Colts now? Connor looks like he's going to be out for the Steelers. I think we're going to be just fine. Let's move on to Titans-Panthers. This is a very exciting game. I'm going up, heads up against Flash in this. I got the 4, 3.5s on the board, a 3 at BetOnline. This total opened up at 41. It's now at 42.5. I got it at 41. Over 41 at -117. Titans +4 at -105. 58 Fahrenheit, sunny, just 4 miles per hour will be the wind. Sure, I think the Panthers can bounce back, but this is too many points. Allen, 4-1, but coming off his first loss in his career. McCaffrey, as we know, 1,078 yards from scrimmage this season. That's the 9th most in NFL history through 7 games. He's also averaging 154 yards from scrimmage. He's been incredible. But Derrick Henry, since week 14 of last season, leads the NFL with 173 yards rushing. He's just playing very, very good football. Tannehill throwing for 505 yards, 5 touchdowns, 1 pick, 115.3 passer rating. He's been much better than Mariota. The Titans have allowed more than 20 points only once this season, which makes me a little uncomfortable. There's a defensive scoring average of 16.9 points allowed for, stingiest in the NFL. They also ranked 9th with 22 sacks. Titans have won 6 straight games versus NFC teams. On the other side, Ron Rivera, 9-1 record against AFC South teams. I like the points here, Donnie, and I'd like the over. I bet it. I mean, I wouldn't say it's one of my favorite looks on the card, but I like that the market's moving in that direction. Donnie, right side, Titans, Panthers.
Yeah, I agree with that on that as well, Jimmy, when we take a look at the total look. But from a side perspective, same looks all week long. I think most people are on the same wavelength. But then when you take a look at some betting percentages out, it looks almost like a 2-1 ticket that's going towards Carolina as opposed to Tennessee. And I don't know, maybe, again, it's just a recency bias where you look at the Tennessee Titans. They're really not that good. They got Tannehill at quarterback, and you're looking for a bounce-back spot from Carolina. But when you try to take a look at the odds and how, some numbers and how these teams match up, when you look at Carolina's offense, 13th in points, 23rd in yards, 25th in passing, 10th in rushing, that already lends to a close game because it says that one team is probably not looking to blow out the other. And then we look at Tennessee's defense. I mean, not bad. Fourth in the NFL in overall scoring, 9th in total yards, 16th in pass, and 12th in rush. They should be able to somewhat hold down McCaffrey in the backfield. And as my thoughts, I've stayed the same exactly all week long. If we're taking a look at more than a field goal in a game that could be won by either team, I'm going to lean towards taking the points, and that's not going to change in this one. I think Tannehill has a decent enough football game. I don't see either one of these teams pulling away from each other. 23-20 almost seems like one of those type games. 23-20, 26-23, somewhere in that range where this is going to be a one-score game, close right down the stretch. So I'm going to take the points. I do agree with you here. I like the Tennessee Titans. And what do we have early in the week? 4s, 4.5s, now down to 3.5s. As long as you stay north of that 3 number, I like the Tennessee Titans here, Jimmy.
I love it. I do too. And do you still feel good about points being scored, even though the Titans defense has been so good?
Yes, because we're taking a look at, styles make fights. And, Carolina will be able to punch back. But when you look at the overall Titans, stop taking their whole season into account and just look at the past couple weeks where they're able to actually have a downfield stroke. Because if we can agree, Carolina's strength is what? Their front seven. Henry's going to be running into a battering ram, but you can loosen up that secondary by going deep. Tannehill has the arm to get that off. And I think that's going to help in this football game. We're looking at a low total, Jimmy, as I say. We don't need 48s. Just need 42, 43s, man. We can do it.
I think so, too. MVP Sports picks our guy Stooch in the house. He's all over the Panthers. Gegard, I got Panthers -3 in the bag early. Akira on Titans +3.5. Robert Weimer says Titans here. Carolina's D is bad. Titans control the ball well without turnovers like the Titans and the under. I don't like seeing that. Doja Fap on the Panthers. Tasha M does not trust Tannehill. Stooch saying sharp action all over the Panthers. Nico says Titans +4. Panthers don't bounce back. But Shadiki Danielle Quim, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that name right. Our guy Quim now says bounce back spot for the Panthers. Farshed Asami leaning Panthers against the spread. Nutflush Allen says, this is how you drive to Vegas. Good looking wife next to me in the Audible on getting ready to cash some tickets. Nutflush Allen with a 30-1 and 40-1 ticket in his hand right now, with the Nationals to win the World Series, heading to Vegas to cash those tickets. If anybody's in the Vegas area, they're all partying at the Orleans. Big Ragu, Dom Ricci, Prince of the City, a ton of our favorite guys. DJ Big Boss. So many great guys are going to be there, so please join. Okay, let's keep... Oh, Robbie Tagaloa also on the under. Ugh, I don't like that at all. All right, let's keep rolling along. Bears, Eagles. We love talking Philadelphia football with Donnie RIGHTSIDE. 52 Fahrenheit, sunny, 11 miles per hour. The rematch of the double doink playoff game last January. Eddie Pinero wins the kicking contest this year, and he looks bad. Missed the 41-yarder and whined about spot. After setting franchise low with 7 rushing attempts against the Saints, the Bears committed to the run last week. Montgomery, 135 yards. Bears went from giving up a season-high 424 yards to the Saints to holding holding LA to 231 yards. They kept Rivers to a season-low 201 yards passing. Chargers had a complete meltdown on the run, could do nothing. Chicago gave up 36 yards on 12 attempts, playing good defensive football. Eagles had a season-high 218 yards on the ground in Buffalo. They did whatever they wanted to. Now they get Deshaun Jackson back. That's got to open up space for Zach Ertz. I took the first half here at -3, and if you are reading this market, I probably should have waited. It opened Philadelphia full game -5, now -4. This total opened up at 44, now 42s and 41.5s on the board. Donnie RIGHTSIDE, Bears, Eagles.
Yeah, I like the Eagles in this spot. I do. And hey, well, look at that. Donnie actually likes the Eagles in a decent spot here. But you're getting a lot of stuff back because when we're taking a look at the Chicago Bears on offense, when you're going to go on the road, when your team is struggling already, you try to leave it up to your offense. Because even if you have a little bit of a leaky defense, you might be able to sit back and say, just like Tampa Bay, like, well, I don't know if their pass defense can hold up, but they're going to be able to score points. When you just look at the numbers here, Jimmy, for the Chicago Bears on the season on offense, points 27th in the NFL, yards 29. Keep in mind, there's 32 football teams here. Yards 29th, passing offense 29th, rushing offense 26th. So what are we trying to aim here for? Maybe a 17 points, somewhere in that range would be a nice number for the Chicago Bears. That's not going to get it done here because the Eagles are going to flip it over on offense and get Deshaun Jackson back and getting healthier as we go. Darren Sproles is actually going to make a appearance in this football game. That'll help. I don't know from the running game perspective, but more likely from a punt returning, third down plays, maybe some screen passes. That'll help. Avonte Maddox also back in the secondary. This is the healthiest that the Eagles secondary has been all season long. And who doesn't want to get healthy and try to get back up in the lineup to take on this offense with Mitchell Trubisky? I think the line's cheap. I don't agree with the line movement. Do I think the line should be 6? Not necessarily, but when I see some movement out here, SBRodds.com, Offshore Chris, -4, -108, DraftKings, -4, Sugar House in New Jersey, -4. That's ridiculous here. The Eagles are a much better football team than the Bears. Now, yes, the Bears do have a really good defense. The Bears defense will give the Eagles offensive line problems. I understand that. Carson Wentz probably going to be running around a little bit for his life at times and maybe even fumble the ball on a strip sack. But the one thing I don't trust at all, hey, Taylor Gabriel's wide open. Allen Robinson's wide open. Money Mitch, the Maserati out there, is not going to hit any of these guys. So when there's a big throw that has to be made in this game, Carson Wentz will make that throw. Mitchell Trubisky will airmail it. Eagles win this football game. Looking on total like 24-13 type game, Jimmy.
I agree. I absolutely agree. MVP Sports Picks is on Eagles. Vid Sniper says Eagles going to kill Bears. Akira, though, Bears +4. David Stewart says, oh, my God, screw Nagy. Give me the Eagles. Doja Fap says Eagles fly high. Sean Mick says, even as a Bears fan, I just cannot see past the Eagles in this one. I have no trust in Nagy at all. Quinn Rivera says Eagles on the money line. We can't score more than 16 points. Wow, a lot of there's Ziggy Balls in the house. Robert Weimer says, buy low situation for the Bears. No real reason here other than I can just feel the Eagles messing this up with the superior team. David Stewart says, great buy on the Eagles. Great buy on the Eagles. Victor Lou says, did you win that horse bet? Victor Lou, it is, I'm focusing on Championship Saturday, but the Whale Capper will be joining us shortly live from Santa Anita. And Shady K says, getting out of Chicago will help the Bears. And Vid Sniper, Eagles under teaser. And Juke says, Whale Capper getting drunk at Santa Anita, as he should be. All right, let's move on to Vikings Chiefs. We have seen some books putting numbers out. I don't want to spend too much time on it. It says here at Sportsbook Review that UWager has dropped to -2.5 on the Chiefs. The Vikings are at -2 on BetOnline, and it's a pick'em at 5 dimes with the total of 48.5 at 2 of the books. We need more information to come out as to whether or not those are legitimate numbers. Mahomes has an outside chance of returning. I don't know if you know if he will be. I do not expect him to be there, but Cousins has been on a tear. 137.1 passer rating, leading the league in the past 4 weeks. Also leads the NFL in yards per attempt. Dalvin Cook, league's leading rusher. That's a nice combination right there. Stephon Diggs playing well. Adam Thielen could be back in action. The Chiefs have lost all 3 games at Arrowhead Stadium this year. The Chiefs have 13 sacks for 128 yards over the past 2 games. They're getting pressure. Donnie Rightside, any information on if Mahomes is playing, and are you planning on making a move on Vikings Chiefs?
You know what? I'm probably if it's going to make a move, it's one of those game day moves where you're trying to get a read on it and say, Mahomes looks really good. They were just trying to be real safe with him, but he's going to get the start. That's going to change a lot of things because I think we can agree if Patrick Mahomes is back under center and functional, +2.5 should be the way to go if you're going to back the Kansas City Chiefs. But if he's not playing, you're going to lean on Matt Moore again, and you don't really want to say, you know what? I'm going to put a lot of chips on this Kansas City defense holding the Minnesota offense down. The one thing that we do know the Kansas City Chiefs don't do all that well, stop the run. And there's a guy named Dalvin Cook, Jimmy, on the opposite side that can break some big gainers, and Kirk Cousins, yes, is playing very well, but the same type of things that cropped up. I haven't made a play on the total or a side in this game because I don't want to get caught, with the proverbial, pants around your ankles at this point saying, hey, love the Vikings. Oh, my God, Thielen's not going to play. That changes things a little bit. Or in the opposite side saying, boy, I'm going to back Minnesota or I'm not going to back them. And then Mahomes shows up and you see him in pregame just throwing rockets and running around like he's a 13-year-old kid on the playground out there. I don't want to be left in this game saying, man, I should have waited to get more information. And it's actually a shame because if both of these teams were healthy, it'd be one of the games we'd spend probably the most time with the Audible talking about. I just don't have enough information, Jimmy, to make an educated guess on this game and say, you know what? I really lean towards this way. Even with a total in this game, those 2 injuries are massive here.
They are most definitely massive. Robert Weimer says Vikes here, if they ever come out with a number, Vikes on the road, non-conference, high percentage play for the last 5 years or so. Victor Lou says under, Cousins going to pull deer in front of the headlights again. Nick Go says Vikings win by 6. Vid Sniper going to stay away from this game. And Ant Fam says I love when my pants are around my ankles. Respect to you, yes. Ant Fam, my guy Ant Fam. Okay, let's keep rolling along in a game that I'm very, very excited about with two terrible football teams. Donnie, Jets, Dolphins. Man, I'm excited. Jets open up -3 plus 101. Now they are -3 or -120. I got the -3 at plus 100. This total opened at 40 at -106 to the over. Now it's at 42.5, and I have 40.5 at -102 in my pocket. Like beating market moves, it feels like I'm halfway there, even though we know that's not the case. Both teams can put up points. 83 Fahrenheit, scattered thunderstorms, 12 miles per hour. Gase led Miami to the postseason rookie head coach in 2016. In his first year as head coach of the Jets, they are 1-6. The Dolphins are 0-7. Darnold has thrown just one touchdown pass with 7 picks in the last 2 weeks. He looks terrible. And we talked about this on on Tuesday, Donnie, when we said Xavier Howard on the IR, make the move. No Mosley until mid-December. Jets kept their players when we thought they might get moved at the trade deadline. Jets -3 and the over 40.5. Donnie, right side, Jets, Dolphins.
It comes down to some simple things here for us, Jimmy, right? When we take a look at this game. If I'm going to tell you the Miami Dolphins defense on the season scoring-wise is dead last. So you say, all right, well, maybe their offense can make up for it. Now I'm going to tell you the Miami offense, Jimmy, in the NFL scoring-wise is dead last as well. There's no way in hell that I can back the Miami Dolphins. I don't care if they're at home and they know what's going on. Even if I was trying to read the tea leaves a little bit earlier in the week saying, you know what, I don't really like what I get out of trade deadline. I don't know what's taking place here. You know, who's going to be traded, who's not going to be traded. Le'Veon Bell should run wild in this football game. There's nobody on the back end to defend any deep shots in this one. You got in ahead of the curve. -3 should be good to go for the New York Jets. They should score in the mid-20s and win this football game and cover.
I agree. I'm very thankful to have gotten in early on this spot. Now let's talk about a very highly talked. I mean, there's people on each side of the fence yelling at each other at Colts, Steelers. No T.Y. Hilton. Now no James Conner likely. Steelers on a short week. 45 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 10 miles per hour. The Steelers open up at -1.5. Then the Colts go to -1 now. Then the announcement of no T.Y. Hilton. The Steelers are back at -1 at Bookmaker and at Heritage and at Intertops and at Bet365. I got in on the Colts money line at plus 103 and the under 43 at -115. That under 43 is now at 41, which makes me feel very, very, very good. James Conner doubtful. Minka Fitzpatrick being awesome. 3 picks, a fumble recovery in 5 games. Pittsburgh has 19 takeaways this season, already 4 more than it managed all of last year. I just don't like what I see from Rudolph, and I think that he's going to struggle against this Colts defense. Robert Weimer says, Indy is the play of the day, the better team on all sides of the ball. Steelers have new injuries that will hamper them. Donnie, right side, Colts, Steelers.
I flipped this week, Jimmy. I flipped on this game because early in the week, getting to say, hey, I'm going to get the better coaching staff. I'm going to get the better, support for my team. I know they're going to be well prepared, which they will be. But styles make fights and components that you need. The Pittsburgh Steelers got a pretty good defense out there, been playing decent football over the past couple weeks. And even when we look at those Steelers losses, Jimmy, most of them are really close, a field goal or less, or even winning games by a field goal or less. So I'm going to roll with the Pittsburgh Steelers in this football game. And the reason being is, look, I know James Conner, he's probably going to miss this football game. I get it. Even Benny Snell's going to miss it. You got some decent backups that you can work off. But when I'm looking overall at the Indianapolis offense and how it is built, even though T.Y. Hilton has been lighting it up, he's not, putting up like Julio Jones numbers or Nuke Hopkins type numbers, really going off the board. But his style actually opens up the offense for everything underneath, including the running game. Now you're looking at a pretty good Pittsburgh secondary that can play even closer to the line of scrimmage, knowing that you're probably not going to be able to get behind because that's what T.Y. Hilton does when he opens it up. The middle of the field opens up. That's not going to be there. So also, that's going to be leading towards an under in this football game, a knockdown slug out. Because even if you watch Monday Night Football, you said, boy, the Steelers really weren't there in the first half. It was nice that Mason Rudolph got that first half out of the way and was able to have a decent second half. Still 2 for 250-some yards and 2 touchdowns in that game. I think he's going to be serviceable enough. But also, the main thing that I'm looking at here is this going to be a coin flip type game, right? So if you're going to take maybe looking at now the Steelers still getting +1, +1.5 at some outlets, why not take the home team in this that's actually playing decent football? And yes, the Colts are going to be prepared. This game is going to be lower scoring, but when I look at what I need to win the football game, specifically last week, let's go back to just the last drive alone. Let's take T.Y. Hilton out of that football game. He doesn't make that outrageous play from Jacoby Brissett where he toe taps the sideline for a 40-yard gain so they get the winning field goal. They lose that game. They're going to lose this game too. Steelers get the W for me.
David Stewart says that's exactly what I'm thinking, Donnie. Love the breakdown. Akira also on the Pitt Steelers. Brendan W. says this is an underlook. Vid Sniper says Steelers to play. Both Tasha and Vid say no TY, no Colts. But I'm with Robert Weimer here. I like the Colts. We broke down, and it was you and Whale Capper with a very nice breakdown of the Colts last week. They pulled out all the stops and all the tricks against the Texans. They showed no tricks against the Broncos. They needed to squeak out of that game. I think they're going to take care of business against the Steelers with no running game. All right, let's move on to Lions-Raiders. I had a lean towards the Lions, and I got off of it. Teddy Covers is on the over in Lions-Raiders, and I understand why. And the reason why I didn't look at it harder is because I lost by a half point by a hook on the Raiders-Texans last week on the over. This total's also gone down a point and a point and a half at Intertops. Intertops hanging at 50 to open at 51.5. Oakland opens up as 2-point favorites now, 2.5-point favorites, and they are finally home. What an odyssey they went on. 70 Fahrenheit, sunny, 8 miles per hour in Oakland. Wow, 7 weeks they were on the road, and they come back 3-4 with a 3-game homestand and could get a shot at the playoffs. They have had a great play from their O-line. Terrell Williams has stepped up, although if he had made one catch that he should have made, I would have got to that over most likely. The Lions are getting a ton from their receivers. Galladay, 3 different games with over 100 yards. Amendola, 2 games over 100 yards. Marvin Jones, TJ Hawkinson each have a 100-yard game, and it's Stafford. Stafford doing all of the right things. He looks very good. The Lions are a strong football team. Couple bad calls away from being second place in the division. Oakland's home field advantage is weak. I want the Lions, but market moving against me, and I got talked off of it on Tuesday. Are you going to make a move side or total here, Donnie?
You know what? I actually like in this game because now that we're getting some information and I love to look at the practice reports to give me an indication of who's going to probably play Sunday. If you're looking at the Detroit Lions, Jimmy, you're getting some really good stuff back here because as the practice reports come through today, Darius Slay, who was limited on Wednesday, limited on Thursday, got a full practice in on Friday. So you assume he's going to line up and play football. So if you're a Detroit backer, that's really good for you. Also taking a look at Deshaun Hand, got in a full practice today. He should be playing this week as well. Mike Daniels got in a limited practice. He might show up on Sunday. And also Ashawn Robinson got in a limited practice today as well. You might be getting a lot of help back on that defensive line and getting your best player overall in the secondary. So if I'm looking from a Detroit perspective, I'm sort of leaning towards Detroit now when I wanted to try to take Oakland all week long. But here's what I like even more, Jimmy, which I think is going to make the most sense here. If we're taking a look from a defensive perspective, Oakland is terrible. 28th in the NFL in points, 25th in yards. Here's the key right here. Passing in the NFL, there are 30 out of 32 teams at defending the pass. You have 2 really good wide receivers, a slot receiver coming on, and Matthew Stafford playing really good football. Why bang your head against a brick wall and try to keep running if you're Detroit? Just let it go. Offensive coordinator, just let Stafford throw against the secondary. You'll get points. So I'm looking at a couple of these things out here, Jimmy. Team total 23.5, which is heavily juiced at -125 here in New Jersey. Over for the Detroit Lions. Detroit's going to be in the mid to high 20s in this football game. They'll cover that. And actually seeing this information come through with the practice reports, sort of leaning Detroit as a side as well. But I think that the one thing I'm for sure, Detroit's going to have some points in this game, Jimmy.
Tasha M. loving the over as well. Vid Sniper on the Raiders. Jux is on the Raiders money line. Robert Weimer says like the over, but beware of the Lions to win outright. As you know, when I put money on the Lions, they dog style me every time, so it's just the over for me. Tasha says Stafford has a cold. Doesn't feel good. Okay, Tasha, very thoughtful, caring about Stafford. I did not know he has a cold. Akira saying Oakland Raiders -2.5. Right, Cape saying Stafford going to rake. Vid Sniper saying Carr going to go off. David Stewart saying, I just don't know. Are the Raiders any good? They seem like they are, but it's the Raiders. Ziggy Ball's leaning towards the Raiders. And Alex Ramirez on the over. Raphael says Raiders Stadium is going to be loud and crazy for the Lions. Raiders have a good chance of winning this game. Brody says, Jimmy, remember when I told you about the Raiders back when you were high on them against the Packers a couple weeks ago? Says Raiders win this game. Raiders win this game. Raphael, though, saying over is a better look than the side. Let's go over to Buccaneers, Seahawks. I got the Buccaneers early in the week, plus 6.5 at minus 108. Only 5s on the board now. That makes me feel very good. This total is at 53. And I got talked off the under. I was actually thinking about making a move on the under, and Donnie was talking about being interested somewhat in the over, and I have not made a move there. 53 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 4 miles per hour, no wind. Bucs had 7 turnovers in their Week 6 loss and to Carolina, and they still should have pulled out that game in that 27-23 loss. 7 turnovers, Week 6 loss to Carolina, and 4 last week in that 27-23 loss at Tennessee. It was a Tennessee game, that I was thinking of they should have pulled out. That was a fumble that should have been a fumble and brought back to the house, and I should have cashed, but I did break even on the over. Seattle in for a big change. Offensive line, veteran center, Justin Britt out for the season. Joey Hunt making his 3rd career start at center, and that I'm sure Wilson can figure it out, but this guy's on an MVP type season, and you have to think things will change with Joey Hunt hiking him the ball. The Bucs are getting a ton from the Ndamukong Suh and Vita Vea. They're giving up to 68.6 yards on runs against. They're playing very good football. Arians 4-1 record as head coach at CenturyLink from his time with the Cardinals. Seattle just 2-2 at home. I love getting the 6.5. Are you going to make a move on the total? Donnie, right side, Bucs, Seahawks.
Yeah, I'm on the over in this game, and there's a couple things that I really like about it, because when you're looking at Tampa Bay's defense, there's usually not a lot to like. But the one thing, if you have a fundamental problem with your defense, if you can't stop the run, Seattle will do whatever they want to, because Chris Carson's coming downhill. Russell Wilson's going to pull the ball in zone read options and get outside. You're going to have a problem that opens up everything with those little smurfs they have at wide receiver to get open deep off play action. Number 1 in the NFL. It's amazing when you look at it. Tampa Bay is number 1 in something, and it's not like, number 1 worst passing defense. Number 1 in the NFL at stopping the run. That's going to help, but that also helps in the total. Sometimes when you see they can really do that, maybe Carson can't get off, that means more passes downfield, because if you're number 1 at stopping the run, Jimmy, Tampa Bay Buccaneers 31st in the NFL against the pass. That's really going to help. If you're not going to be running the football as much, you're going to be throwing it. That means good things downfield. It also means a lot of clock stoppages. But the one thing I do agree with you with, it's one of these things, if you have Tampa Bay in this game, sometimes it's better to bet Tampa Bay and maybe go out of the house for a little bit, have a couple beers, take the wife, take the family out for the day, and come back and check the final score. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if you're going to watch Jameis Winston all 4 quarters and Russell Wilson all 4 quarters, even though you can win money, and a couple weeks ago taking the Baltimore Ravens was fantastic. I enjoyed the life out of it. But Russell Wilson makes 4 to 5 plays a game that make you want to throw your TV out the window when you bet against them. The same exact thing as Jameis Winston when you have your money on him. So don't watch the football game, Jimmy. I completely agree with you here, though. Tampa Bay should be live in this game. They should be in it right to the end. They have big play weapons at wide receiver, which is exactly how you have to attack Seattle downfield. I like the points in this game with Tampa Bay, and more importantly, I like points overall in this game. I think both of these teams should be in the upper 20s, at 52, 51.5, 53, wherever you're shopping with out there at SBRodds.com. We should be able to get this one. I like the over in this game. I think we're going to get some points, Jimmy.
I'm going to stay off the total and just focus on the Buccaneers plus 6.5, but you did get me off the under, and, I may be very thankful for that come Sunday. Comfortable getting the points here. Tasha says Seattle doesn't cover over 4. Akira on Tampa Bay plus 6. Vid Sniper Bucks plus 6. Nilo says you convinced me on Tampa, Jimmy. But Kevin Carter liking Tampa with the points to cover. Robert Weimer says after looking at it with the bag here, but a point less. Doesn't matter. Winston finds a way to not throw the interception, and they win outright. Brendan W. liking the outright win. Bucks moneyline. AM moneyline said Seattle last week against Atlanta was so frustrating. They cost me a big parlay not touching this game. Juke saying that's a fact. What Donnie Rightside says, don't watch Jameis Winston live. He's like a 5-year-old trying to walk a tightrope. The Sports 78 fading Seattle. All right, let's move on to a very interesting game that I'm very, very, I'm just so thankful I got the Browns at -3. I know before Flacco was ruled out and now the career in jeopardy. I mean, with the surgery, the neck surgery, or herniated disc, excuse me, that you could have got this line in a very, better than my -3. This opened up with the Broncos at -1.5. I got in on the Browns -3. They're now 4s on the board, a 4.5 on the board. This total opened up at 43 and is now 39. In Denver, 53 Fahrenheit, sunny, 7 miles per hour is the wind. We have backup Brandon Allen making his first NFL start. I think he's going to have a tough time here. Mayfield has looked bad, tied for the league lead with 12 picks, just 6 touchdown throws after setting an NFL record with 27 last year. Freddie Kitchens is terrible. Baker's no good with pressure in his face. The Browns have injuries to their secondary. Their season's effectively over, but that does not scare me. I think that the Broncos won't be able to move the ball, and I'm on the Browns -3. Donnie Rightside, should I be as bullish as I feel with the Browns?
I think you should be bullish. I do, even though I'm not going to take a side in this game, but I'm going to tell you why you actually should be bullish. We went over this morning when we talked earlier about how tough the Cleveland Browns get. Now, look, you still have to win football games. You're supposed to win football games. There's not really any, moral victory, so to speak. But if you're trying to take a team with a moral victory, it's probably the Cleveland Browns. But you're leaning on just saying for this football team, just don't make too many mistakes, which is horrible. Like, you're coming into a game against a team that barely has an offense. Like, you have weapons on your offense for the Cleveland Browns. Denver doesn't have any of that. Denver has 1 wide receiver, a decent little running back, a banged-up offensive line, nothing much a tight end, nothing much as a 2 or 3 wide receiver, and a quarterback that's never taken a snap in an NFL football game. And you're going to say to yourself, you know what? That's what I really want to bet on. Yes, the Denver Broncos have a very good defense. Yes, Freddie Kitchens stinks as a head coach. Yes, Baker Mayfield turns it over. But if you're going to line these two teams up, I don't see, unless you're just a pure contrarian that says 15 penalties for the Browns, they'll turn it over 4 times, they'll be in a chance to win it, and they'll miss a field goal and you'll get an escape with Denver. Is that really a sound way to bet professional football? Just saying, I'm just going to be a contrarian. I think the Denver offense stinks. The kids never started before ever. And I'm going to back them to a victory. I don't agree with doing that. So if you're out there betting that way, that's not really the approach that you should be taking. It's smart fundamentals that you try to bet into and think you can think you can actually have an advantage. On paper, you should have the better quarterback position on the Browns, right? Between these two teams. You should have the better running backs on the Browns between these two teams, right? Yes. You have the better wide receivers of these two teams. And then if you take a look at Donnie, the Denver defense is pretty good. Absolutely, it's pretty good. But you're going against a rookie. What's the ceiling for Denver this weekend, Jimmy, on offense? 17 points? If the Browns can't score 21 points to win at least 21-17, they just need to clean house right away. It's a get-right game for the Browns saying, let's get some momentum. Let's see what we can do the rest of the year. Hell, maybe the Baltimore Ravens lose to the New England Patriots and we can gain a game on them. If they can't win this game, they have serious issues. I can't back a rookie that's never played on a completely inept offense to begin with. I just can't do it.
I agree. And I know that confidence doesn't equate to more cash in your pocket, but I'm very confident in this spot. Robert Weimer says, if the Clowns can't win this, they just can't win. But they are the Clowns. So take the under in Denver. Joe Anisi got on the Browns money line early, -130. Great job. Not as early as Gegard A, who wins that award. Browns at +1.5. So as soon as I saw the line way before the Flacco news, my favorite bet of the weekend, gotta be. Tash M says can't take over under. Baker will turn the ball over. But Vince Sniper said it feels like a game where this Allen quarterback turns into another Allen like Carolina. I'm not scared about this Allen here. Sports 78 says took 10-1 odds on Cleveland to win their division. Their schedule is so cake from this point forward. Their run starts at Denver. Vid Sniper, Sean Mick both say stay away games, but Alex Ramirez says yes, Browns. Yes, Browns. Alex Ramirez believing in these Browns. George Ramirez says they're tough in Denver. It's Denver a pass. Craig77 says Broncos seem to play better on the road. Lousy at home. I'm leaning Browns. And Ziggy Ball's leaning Browns. Raphael says, I like the Browns, but my hand won't let me put money down on Baker Mayfield. I get that. I absolutely get that. Okay, let's keep rolling along to another game. I've doubled up here. And 2 market moves have gone against me. One's gone badly against me. And that is the total on Packers, Chargers. 49's across the board now. What a mess. Opened at 46. I got the under at 47. What a mess I made. I'm also on the Packers -3. There's only one -3 left. That's a 5 times, 3.5 everywhere else. In Los Angeles, it's 79 Fahrenheit on Sunday. Sunny. 4 miles per hour will be the wind. The Chargers have been held under 40 yards rushing in 4 straight games. They're the first team since the 1947 Detroit Lions to do that. Melvin Gordon missed 2 months. He's been invisible, averaging 2.6 yards per carry, has 1 carry over 10 yards, Donnie. 1 carry over 10 yards in 4 games. Who would have thought he'd be this terrible coming out of that holdout? Chargers had only 12 running plays in last week's win at Chicago. Lynn said he wants to see more carries on the ground, more consistency on the ground. But this total keeps shooting up. Devontae Adams missed 4 games with a turf toe. He returned to practice this week. He is expected to be in the lineup. I'm on the Packers -3. I think they can win this game easily. We know there's no home field advantage over there in where the Chargers play in that small stadium. I'm on the Packers -3 at -120. Donnie, Packers, and sadly, I'm on the under. What's your move here?
No, yeah. I think I think we might get a little bit of points in this game. I'm going to tell you a little bit why I think that. But this is the contrarian special, right? Opens up 3.5. Hasn't really moved all that much. 8 out of 10 tickets lining up on the Packers, and why not? Because it looks like you're probably going to get a return of Devontae Adams as well, already on top of what these good young wide receivers and running backs have done. Now, if we're taking a look from the Chargers' perspective here, defensive-wise, top 10 in points, 12th in yards, 6th against the pass, and 23rd against the run. So you should be able to run the football, and there's no better play action offense and Aaron Rodgers in that offense, certainly taking shots downfield when he's eligible. That's going to take place in this game. So I do think that's going to get a little bit of points. But here's what I actually like a little bit about the Chargers. Like, there's a lot of downfall because, oh man, team stinks. They can't do anything. They fired their offensive coordinator. Yes, but as we talked about earlier, Jimmy, last 4 games, Denver Broncos defense, really good. Pittsburgh's defense, really good. Tennessee's defense, solid. And the Chicago Bears defense, really good. You get a little bit of a breather in this game, but you're also getting the gang's all here type mentality. New offensive coordinator, maybe a new approach to the offense slightly. Phillip Rivers, still healthy at this point. Austin Eckler, Justin Jackson will be back for this football game, and Melvin Gordon. So you got the 3 guys back in this offense. Let's not forget, Justin Jackson's only played 3 games, Jimmy. 7.9 yards per carry when he's gotten through his 18 carries early in the season. That's going to be a help. Keenan Allen's healthy this week, as well as Mike Williams at wide receiver, but also Hunter Henry coming back. You got a lot of weapons out here. They can do some things to the Green Bay defense, which is why I do like the points. But it is hard to take the Chargers. Even though I do think it's going to be a closer game, you don't get the home field advantage. There'll be more Packer fans. The Packers are on a high wire effect right now, looking really good on offense. They do play a little semblance of defense from what they've done in the past. But I got to say, I like points in this football game more than the side itself. And I think the Chargers can get into the mid-20s. So if the Chargers get into the mid-20s, like I think they can, I think they have a good shot at covering this line as well, but not betting aside in this one. I just like points in this game here, Jimmy.
Yes, I'm very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. I don't think I'm going to bother buying out of it, but I'm uncomfortable with this spot. Akira liking Chargers +3.5. Vid Sniper liking Chargers +3.5. The Sport 78 on Chargers +3.5. Tasha M, Green Bay moneyline and under. Nilo liking the Packers too, but he hates the Chargers. Packers are great at -3. Rye Cape says Packers defense shows up. I like Green Bay easy. Ziggy Ball's leaning towards the Packers on the spread. Kevin Carter says Chargers are a bet against team, in my opinion. AM says it will look like a Packers home game in that place. And Vid Sniper talking about how Chargers got rid of Wisenhunt. The Sports 78 says the line is short and shady for a reason. Letdown spot for Green Bay. Joe Yurkovich, Chargers first half team total over. Book it. Book it. Alex Mira said Chargers don't score. And Joe, you were talking about the new OC for the Chargers. You got to think they'll score. Says Green Bay should score some as well. Over is the look. Let's move on to a very exciting game. And we're going to have Whale Capper joining us shortly from Santa Anita. We're going to break down, Donnie and I now, this Patriots game and the Giants game. And then we'll go over what Whale Capper's looks are on this card. And then Whale Capper will join us and talk about these 2 games as well. Patriots, I got -3 and thought it was a steal at the time. I thought it's going to be 3.5 across the board, but this is the Joes versus Pros situation, Donnie. All the Joes on the Patriots and all the Pros on the Ravens here. Ravens coming off a bye. 52 Fahrenheit, sunny, 10 miles per hour in Baltimore. Jackson leads the NFL with 6.94 yards per carry, ranks 10th with 576 yards rushing. Only quarterback in NFL history to pass for at least 1,600 yards, run for 500 through the first 7 games. The Patriots, allowing an NFL low 7.6 points per game, rank second in both yards allowed and passing yards allowed, rank 4th in rushing yards allowed. I know they played bad teams, but their defense has been very, very good. And the AFC is bad. I don't think the Ravens are a good team. So yes, I believe in Harbaugh. I believe in Harbaugh coming off a bye, but I also believe that Belichick will swallow up Lamar Jackson. I wish I had waited. I could have got -3 at -105, and that's even money coming back in on the Patriots, because I could have got -101 earlier today, but I got -123. Donnie right side, Patriots, Ravens.
The good thing they got with the Ravens, right? You know, it just seems like no matter what's going on this year, they're able to score points on offense, even though they're primarily a run team. Now you're going to have extra time to get ready for the New England Patriots. You're going to get some help back. Hollywood Brown is going to be back at wide receiver. You get Jimmy Smith back at cornerback on one side. You trade for Marcus Peters on the other. So things are on the up and up, but you still got to go against Tom Brady. And the same crazy stuff that we talked about in the same division, Jimmy. You have one team that's the worst in the league on scoring and the worst in the league at defending scoring. Now you get the complete flip shot there with the New England Patriots. Number 1 in the NFL in scoring, number 1 in the NFL in scoring defense to top that. That's going to be hard to overcome. You're not talking about a team that's, they're giving up 13 foot. They're giving up a touchdown or less a game on average. So immediately you have to say, all right, well, what's the upside here for the Baltimore Ravens? Can the Ravens touch 20? Because if the Ravens don't get to 21 points or more, they're not winning this football game. You're not going to see a repeat of like the 16-10 game that the New England Patriots had with the with the Buffalo Bills. You're going to have to put pressure. I think Brady and Belichick got a little bit something up their sleeve and way to defend it, because I always like to get back to how do you defend? Because what is it? What's the record, Jimmy? Like 20-0 or 25-0 against first or second year quarterbacks for Bill Belichick. He puts them in a grind and puts them in situations that they're not used to. Now, the one thing with Lamar Jackson that he can usually get away with, which is if your secondary is okay, you can play a little bit type of different defenses where everybody has their eyes on the backfield and can come up. But with the New England Patriots, they're going to be able to sick it down. You can just go man-to-man on the outside and say, hey, man, let's keep a robber down underneath or maybe a spy on Lamar Jackson just to try to slow him down. That's going to be in play. But I got to tell you, if there's a spot for the New England Patriots to lose, it should be this weekend. You're actually going to get pretty good weather, 41, 42, 43 degrees. It is cool, but not a lot of windy conditions. I'll tell you right now, this game is probably going to come down to one thing. And Bill Belichick actually sent out, he didn't send a tweet out, a reporter sent a tweet out on what Bill Belichick said. Best kicker in NFL history actually resides on the Baltimore Ravens right now. You cross midfield at home, he's going to be able to make good with that. You've seen the struggles that the Patriots have had in their kicking game, particularly at their field goal kicker, where a lot of time the Patriots, instead of kicking 48, 49 yarders, they're going for it on 4th down. That eventually could nab you here, and I think it might in this football game. Way I'm looking in this game, Ravens +3 for me so far here late in the week. Unless something drastic changes, I like the momentum of what the Ravens have in this game, and I think they can keep it close. If not, definitely win this football game.
We both know that Belichick loves going for it at the 48 or the 47. He just he loves it. It's his drug. So, but I know he'd prefer to be able to count on the kicker, which he's not doing. Vid Sniper says Pats will probably lose by a field goal. Nilo says statement game for the Patriots. Interesting. Anisi says this by far the best team the Pats have played this year, but that doesn't scare me. Shaidike says Patriots will finally be exposed. I don't think the Ravens are good enough. I do not think the Ravens are good enough. Siggy Ball says at -3, I lean Patriots. Belichick will stop Lamar Jackson. Get Ardace is talking about a stay away game. Got to have balls to bet. Either team here. The over is my only look. And we'll ask Donnie what he thinks about this total. Tasha says I would take the Patriots with -10. Get Ardace saying Brady 22-0 against rookie quarterback. 22-0. Fitzsimmons said this will be the storyline for the AFC Championship game. Alex Ramirez says Pats roll. And we had a great line from Joseph Penampede. He says, if you're thinking of betting against the Pats, why not just donate your money to a nice, reputable charity instead of wasting it? Says people just never learn. People just never learn. Let's talk about this total right now, Donnie. It's sitting at, let me pull it up here at sportsreview.com SBR odds page. It's sitting here at 45. There are 44.5s now on the board. If I gave you a free $500 play on a total, would you be going over this number or under?
I'm going over the total. And you say, well, wait a second. You're looking at this game. It's, cooler temperatures. One team's going to want to run the football. One team's electric on defense, hold you under 10 points. But I got to tell you, like when you look at the Baltimore Ravens, even though they are a run-centric offense, Jimmy, 59 points in the opener, 23. I'm just going to give you the team totals that they had. 59, 23, 28, 25, 26, 23, and 30. I think they're going to be able to get into the low 20s in this game. And look, I don't care how well structured you are with the defense for Baltimore and how the crowd is. This is Tom Brady in the offense. They just don't get shut down completely in this football game. I think both teams get into the 20s. So therefore, if they got a free play, I'm going to lean on the over here, Jimmy.
Joe Yurkovich says Patriots would score at will. No need to shut down Lamar completely. Maybe the over. Sean Mick says we've seen it many times, too many times from Belichick. Taking out an opponent's number one major weapon, says I am taking the Patriots. Juke says, I know we all want the Ravens to win, but we all know the Pats will cover. That's This is the most fun game of the week for sure. Patriots, Ravens, Sunday night special. Let's move on to the Monday Nighter. Man, this is an interesting game. Flash liking the Giants. We will hear soon what whale capper is on, and it's not the Giants. Cowboys coming off a bye. They have to win this game. New York, Monday night, 53 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 8 miles per hour will be the wind. Dallas opening up at -7.5. Now, that was at a big plus line. That was at plus 112. So, really a 7. And that's where they stand at Pinnacle. They're at -7 to -112. And they're at 7.5 at UWager. 7.5 at Bovada. This total opened up at 48. It has stayed there. Bookmaker is the only book hanging a 47.5. Jason Garrett off a bye is not intimidating. Harbaugh off a bye is intimidating. He's a good coach. Garrett is not. Giants playing better than expected. Saquon back playing well. 2 of the best running backs in the league. The Cowboys defense we thought was going to be spectacular this year. Donnie, we thought top 5, top 3. So they bring in Robert Quinn. And then they bring in Michael Bennett. Michael Bennett this week making his debut. They're not nearly as strong as we had expected. And the Giants are getting off to these terrible starts week in and week out. They've been outscored 38-0 in the last 4 games in the first quarter. Just not playing well. Down 14-0 to both Arizona and Detroit in the last 2 weeks. Donnie right side, the Monday Nighter. Cowboys, Giants, side or total here?
Yeah, I don't know if I want to lay the 7. Cause, it's a big spot. It's in New York. Yes, Dallas should win this game. But if maybe 6.5 would have tipped my hand here. But as we said in the Chargers game, both of these teams, hey, the gang's all here on offense. These teams are as healthy as they're going to be all year long. And when you say that and you get extra rest and it's not really too windy of conditions here, let's take a look at the Dallas Cowboys and what they can do to the Giants defense. Giants defense, Jimmy, 27th in points. 28th in yards, 25th against the pass, and 22nd against the rush. Now you're going to get a healthy offensive line, a complete set of healthy wide receivers, and Deacon Zach in the backfield. That plays out to Dallas, 6th in the NFL in points, number 1 in the NFL in total yards, 3rd with the pass, and 4th in rush. They're going to be able to name their number in this football game. Now, when you take a look at the over-under, 48-47, you need the Giants to come to play. And yeah, we have been a little bit maligned here with the Dallas Cowboys defense, Jimmy, but when you look on paper, what they do, 7th in the NFL against points, 8th in yards, 9th in pass, 13th in rush. That's not too bad. The one thing I don't want to see, which is I continuously see with the New York Giants, and again, they're an underdog by a touchdown or more in this football game. Therefore, they're going to be down in the fourth quarter. How many times have you seen the Giants in the second half, down 10 points or more, completely eschew the field goal? So when they're in first and goal at the 10-yard line and they're backed up to the 15 on 4th and goal from the 15, they go for the touchdown, don't get it. There's many times where you could pick up those easy points where if you're hanging around that 42, 43, 44 mark, you say, hey, Giants, kick the field goal, and let's see if we can keep on mounting these points where they don't do it. I don't want to fall in that trap. So you know what I'm doing in this game, Jimmy? I think Dallas can score a touchdown a quarter against the New York Football Giants here. Over 27.5 as a team total seems like a great play. I don't want to worry about Danny Dimes. You know what the one thing I know is Dallas's offense should name the number they want to score on the Giants, and I think they do that. High 20s, low 30s for the Cowboys in this game. I'm not going to mess with the Giants or side or the total for the game. Just give me the Dallas's team total. They'll hit that number.
I like that look. I like that look quite a bit. Cowboys team total over. Vid Sniper, though. Danny Dime time. Vid Sniper like in the G-Men plus 7.5. Craig 77 says Dallas is healthy. They win by 10 plus. 7-10. Plus, Nilo says boys will win, but not sure of that 7.5. And Gegarde said, correction, Belichick, Brady are 22-0 against rookie coaches, 17-5 against rookie quarterbacks. Thank you for clearing that. No worries, Gegarde. No worries. Much love. And thank you for clearing that up. Joe Rich Ramirez like in the over 48 says cash. Tasha says New York defense sucks. Dennis Garcia says New York at Dallas week 1 was Dallas -7. I don't know why Dallas is such a big favorite here. Siggy Ball says I lean New York Giants on the spread against teams off by, I lean New York Giants on spread. Teams off by start slow. Giants do well versus Cowboys at East Rutherford. The Sports 78 says, I see the Cowboys being motivated for this game. They lost to the Jets in the same stadium a few weeks ago. Won't want it to happen again. Won't want it to happen again. There you have it. There is the complete card. We're going to be joined by Whale Capper shortly, but let's take a look at what our plays are on this card. Gekard A is on the Cowboys -7. Says Giants lead the league in giveaways. Jones has 7 picks, 7 fumbles. Dak 400 plus yards against the G-Men in week 1. I see that same thing happening here. Also leading towards the under 48. And Joe Yurkovich says Jones has been turning it over lately. Cowboys should win by double digits. Let's take a look at Donnie Right-Side's action off the top. Donnie Right-Side, let's see what you are on. Eagles -4 at -108. Good work waiting on that. Ravens +3 at -108. Bills -9 at -110. Tampa Bay Seattle over 52.5 at -110. And then the Cowboys team totaled over 27.5 at -105. There's Donnie Right-Side. Now let's take a look at my ludicrous amount of plays. There we go, man. I'm not fooling around this week. I'm going after it. I've invested heavily in this week. Patriots -3, Packers -3, Buccaneers +6.5, Jets -3, Redskins +10. I might buy out of that. Titans +4, 10 Carolina over 41. Eagles first half -3. I should have waited. New York Jets Miami over 40.5. Colts +103. Indianapolis, Pittsburgh under 43. Browns -3. And there's that ugly Green Bay Chargers under right there. An ugly Green Bay Chargers. Joe Yurkovich says Whale Capper is sharpening his harpoon, Jimmy. Yes, he is. Let's take a look at what our guy, the Whale Capper, is on as well. Let's take a look at his looks on this card. And there's the Whale Capper's action. So Houston, Jacksonville over 47. I might want to bring that up with Donnie, that total there in England. Interesting that he's on it, and he didn't need the minus spot to do it. He's on the Colts -1. That gives me confidence. Detroit, Oakland over 50.5. There's another look on that over. Buccaneers +6. That makes me feel good. And then he's there, New England, Baltimore under 45, and the Cowboys -7. Getting laughed at for the amount of plays. Perfect Rotation says he has so many plays I don't even know which ones lose. That's well put. Look, I really feel like this is the time of year where historically I'm successful, and we've seen enough. And if you find angles, hammer them. And that's what I'm doing. Let's take a look at some of the plays on Whale Capper's card. First off, he's on the over at Wembley. What do you think of that over at Wembley that Whale Capper's on?
No, I like it. I think if I had a play in that game, it would be the over, just because I don't think these two defenses are well equipped to throw like a shutdown in hand. I think both of these quarterbacks are athletic and mobile, and that's going to make a big difference. So you may get out of the pocket, make some plays. You can definitely make some plays against the secondary for Houston. You have some young athletic wide receivers that can do some damage. They stopped the run fairly well, but if you're going to lose your best pass rusher like you did in J.J. Watt last week and then flip it over conversely, even though you do have some good pass rushers for the Jacksonville Jaguars, you have the ultimate weapon back there in Deshaun Watson. He's going to be able to run around and make some plays. I don't see a lot of, quarterbacks under duress because they can get out of it, which should lead to points. And we don't need 55 points in this game. You're just looking to be competitive. Both teams into the 20s gives you a shot. I think you do get a shot because, again, as we look back at the weather, mid-50s, light windy conditions, no precipitation, we should get some points here.
I think we should get some points. Looking at his card, so we have both Teddy Covers and Whale Capper on the over in Detroit, Oakland, and you like points in that game as well. You're leaning towards the Lions. With them both on the over, does that make you think you want to also follow them there?
No, I like the over in the game, but I made the decision early in the week. I said, let me see who's finally going to play, because that was going to be the determining factor in the game for me, which way I was going to go. If I didn't have any Darius Slay in that game, I'd have just said, you know what, both these teams are going to be able to score. But I think from a stopping of the other team perspective of what they want to do, if Darius Slay is going to play, that's already going to slow down the offense a little bit, because he's a really good cornerback and he can lock down one side of the field. And then you're going to get, from what we went over the practice reports, maybe some extra help on the front line for defense, which says, all right, if Detroit's a decent defensive team, well, they're actually going to get a little bit of a bolster with some of these guys coming back. Now, when I look from the opposite side, it doesn't matter really who's on the Oakland defense or coming back. They're giving up points. They can't stop the pass. And I have a couple dynamic wide receiver weapons when my bread and butter is not running the football. It's throwing downfield, the guys making plays. And if it's 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, Danny Amendola has been sensational in the slot. I just like the matchup better. The one thing I feel more comfortable with, Jimmy, is I know Detroit's going to score, but I don't want to lean on maybe Oakland on the opposite side, so both teams have to score. I think Detroit can get in that mid-20s to high 20s range. That's where I left it there. If Slay wasn't playing, I'd be more inclined to take the over here.
Donnie, you are on Eagles -4, Ravens +3, Bills -9, Tampa, Seattle over 52.5, and the Cowboys team total over 27.5. If you were to add one play, and this isn't like an official ad, but if there was one play that you're like, almost about to do, what would be the 6th play on your card?
To be honest, it would be the Cleveland-Denver under, because the game plan in this from both sides should be, I'm not going to blink until the other team does. I'm going to use my running game, because neither team, is effectively efficient, like a top 5 defense of slowing it down. Why would this game not be, let's get the football, get 1 or 2 first downs, punt it, and make the other team make the mistake? One's a rookie quarterback, one's a buffoon on the other side. Why would you just say, like, what Cleveland's game plan? Would it be, let's go 5 wide, really open it up against this really good Denver defense? No. If you're Cleveland's perspective going on the road, you got to say, it's a rookie over there. He's not going to walk up and down the field on us, so let's just not make the mistake, make the efficient plays, and win the football game. Give me an under in that one if that was my extra play.
The under in the Browns game, that makes sense to me. And it's at 39. We've been trying to get our guy, Whale Capper's trying to get in. The connection is not good at Santa Anita. We're going to try one more time, but it looks like we may not be able to bring him in. But we know that he is on the Cowboys -7. I find that under interesting. And the only fear we have with that under is if Denver gets down and Cleveland keeps punching. Is that right? That's our only fear?
Yeah, and even that, like, what has Denver shown us? Like, they rip away Emmanuel Sanders. Like, I just don't see monster big plays in this football game. Now, could the Browns bust off? I guess, but what is showing you against the Denver defense that you could just rip it off and just let it go against them, especially coming off a week where you're lambasted all week? Like, you guys make way too many mistakes. Like, don't you just get back to the fundamentals of running the football, moving the chains, and seeing what happens? That's just the way I see this game playing out.
I think this will be the addition on my card as well. I like hearing that. Okay, let me pop this in and put a couple asterisks right there. I think that will be an addition on my card because I have the under. Usually I have question marks beside it and then I erase it. But at this point, that's, you know what? I'm going to lock it in right now and make it an official play here. And then I got to do a bunch of asterisks so I don't forget to bet it. Okay, I'm locking in this under right now that Donnie's speaking of. And I'm going to lock it in. Here we go. Under 39. The best I can get is minus 101 at Pinnacle. Under 39 at minus 101 at Pinnacle. All right, Rafa, we're ready to put a bow on this bad boy. We got a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Okay, sadly, a thumbs down from Whale Capper. But Whale Capper, wherever you are at Santa Anita right now, get that cash. Get that cash. It's juvies. Remember, when you're betting 2-year-olds, take the long shots. Just look at the trainer and look at the jockey. Don't look at anything else. If they're in the race, they're live. There we go. Thank you guys so much for joining us. What a great, great group. Joe Yurkovich, Jukes, Doug Barnhouse, Tasham, Geghard A, Doug Barnhouse, Craig 77, Vid, Sniper, Philip Oberg, AM Moneyline, Dutch Boy Fresh, David Stewart, Zen Harris, Perfect Rotation, Jay Peach. What a spectacular, spectacular group. Donnie Rightside and Craig 77 says Whale Capper's Beach. He's fighting a good fight, but he can't make it with us today. He'll be back next week. Donnie Rightside, any last words for these great cappers in the chat and those watching at home?
Yes, look, Tuesday was a little bit anticlimactic. Me and Jim were hoping to have an explosion with the trade deadline, and absolutely nothing happened, but we worked through it. We went through all the games, set it up for Friday, got a lot of good practice report information. A lot of key injury information came out a lot earlier than we anticipated, which makes it for a much more fun show. And talking it through for a second time around, you get that much more confident in the wagers that we have. And Whale Capper wasn't here, but you know what's the important thing? Jimmy, we got his picks, and that's what's important here to give out to the good people here. So all our picks are out there. A lot of fun was had. Love this show. We always recap it back on Tuesday to see where we went wrong and looking forward. But I'm excited this week. From Tuesday when we first spoke, Jimmy, I said, Jimmy's got a really good read this weekend, and you fired away. Let's get a big winning week, 75% plus for you, and we'll kick it off. We'll have some fun. And right into the next week we go, Jimmy.
Oh, I'd love to come in here on Tuesday with the money in my pocket, especially with Championship Saturday tomorrow, the Breeders' Cup. On behalf of my guy, Donnie, right side, and everybody here at SBR, our producer, Rafa, who's trying so hard to get the Whale Capper in, from all of us, thank you guys so much for watching. Let's have a big, big Sunday, and we'll see you at Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern. Stick around 23 minutes for betting with the bag. We'll see you guys very soon. Good luck this weekend.